We absolutely need to talk about Manuel Lanzini's performance against Burnley because it shocked a lot of people. It definitely surprised me as a fan. Obviously, I've written him off, and I hate to say it because Manuel Lanzini, in terms of the past few years and before the injury, was sublime at times. The number 10, athletic, could drive from deep, had a lot of physical attributes to him that could really scare other teams. And again, his output in terms of goals and assists were there. And Moyes built the side really around him and Arnautovic first time out when he was at the club. But for the past year or so, I think Lanzini has been sidelined, particularly because of the way that West Ham play. Obviously, the defensive work rate of the two wide attacking midfielders. The fact you've got to have a flexible number 10 that can get beyond the striker. Manu doesn't really fit that mould. But what we saw against Burnley was a player that, let's be honest, technically still has it. Absolutely. Understands the space. Really did well in terms of his availability. I think that was probably the biggest take that I got from that Burnley performance, in going and collecting the ball off the centre-backs, allowing them to split, allowing West Ham to play out from a press that I don't think I've seen from us this season. We're good in transition. We're good in terms of those counter-attacks and building up and using only 2 or 3 players in which to do so. But I've never really seen us invite teams onto us to go and beat us. And now when you've got Manuel Lanzini, who's offering another option in that midfield, willing to pick it up and play it simple, you're also getting a lot out of those attacking midfield players because they trust him with the ball. That's the biggest thing. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a disrespect on Mark Noble, because in the games that he came in for West Ham, I thought we did a decent job. Yes, of course, naturally, the mobility isn't there, and we speak about that regularly. But I thought Lanzini, for me, just seems like a clear outlier if you're going to have a third-choice defensive midfielder, and not necessarily in terms of the physical attributes. I don't think against an athletic midfield, a high-press team, it's not necessarily going to work. But it is important to remember that Burnley did try and press Lanzini, and he did beat the press regularly. And when he was on the ball, not only is his ability to keep it simple, but looking to play between the lines, looking to get that ball into the attacking midfielders. And that's something that we haven't had from a 4-2-3-1. You played Declan Rice and Souček, very mobile, very effective, getting forward, pressing high, getting bodies into the box. And normally Declan's the guy to slot back into those 2 centre-backs to just give us a little bit of solidity. But the fact that we had Manuel Lanzini who was able to get forward at times, allow West Ham to play a high line and not be frightened of getting picked off, is the key difference for me. And I just thought generally, not only in terms of the passing ranges that he was showing, not in terms of his cut, in terms of how comfortable he was in possession, but also his reading of the game in front of the centre-backs. I thought there was a number of times where he's cut out the ball. He isn't the tallest. He isn't a natural defensive midfielder, but the way he reads the game, his intelligence on the ball, and the confidence that he's giving to West Ham's attacking players is a real difference. Will Manuel Lanzini be able to do that, or will he be able to play in that type of role every game? Of course he won't. I'm not silly enough to sit here and say that. And I do believe Declan Rice walks back into the side once he's fully fit. But there will be teams where West Ham will be expected to dominate the ball a little bit, and Manuel Lanzini's ability to get close to players, create triangles, create angles, allow West Ham to break down sides and use the mobility of the attacking midfielders slightly more in a more advanced area is the difference in breaking down sides that will sit deep against us. So whilst I don't necessarily advocate that Manuel Lanzini is going to become a first-choice starter for West Ham, and I don't think it's fair for him to be that because he isn't that player anymore, I just think the option that he gives us is completely different and is something that has allowed West Ham to play better football in terms of being on the ball, beating the press, and not just being a transitional side. More strings to the bow with a player like this. And I'm really, really happy for him because obviously I love him as a player. The memories that he's given West Ham fans, to get something out of him at this stage of his career, when a lot of people, me included, wrote him off, is absolutely fantastic to see. So fair play, Manu. Very similar to the Jesse Lingard video. I've got to give you props. I would like to see you at some point between now and the end of the season occupy that role. And I'd be interested to see whether David Moyes trusts him in that role, because he has gone out there and he's done exactly the job that he's needed to and executed it essentially perfectly. So keep a keen eye on that. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you do like it. Subscribe to the West Ham Way if you're watching this and you're new. I'll be back tomorrow with the pre-match chat with Dan. We've got Everton on Sunday, which is a big, big game. Possibly Manu starts in that. I'm not sure. I would have Declan, but let me know in the comment section who you'd play. And then, of course, you're going to have your team or my team against Everton and what to expect from Carlo Ancelotti's Everton on Sunday with the watch-along following. So loads more stuff coming out. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you all very shortly.